So I have a headset on right now because no doubt when this video goes live I will also be live streaming Horizon Zero Dawn simultaneously, but self-promotions aside, what's going on with this here video is that it's going to be following the same vein as yesterday's top 10 upload, where I'm going to be taking one of my older top 10s and re-uploading it, but this time around I do have a slight change in the visuals because this original video got copyright claimed, so naturally I have adjusted the visuals to avoid said copyright claim the second time, and it's oriented around the top 10 Skylanders mobile games with a few exceptions mixed in there, so definitely let it be known even that there definitely are a few bends to the rules as to what qualifies into this list to ensure that there are at least 10 entries into the list, because otherwise if I didn't bend the rules as such, then there wouldn't even be 10 traditional mobile games of the Skylanders franchise to talk about. But let it be known that where I did bend the rules, I have of course taken into account their mobility as a mobile game, because that's the most important thing about these portable games. Are they fun? So rinse and repeat through again and again as you take them on the go. But regardless, enough of this has been said and done, so we're going to roll the intro and get straight into re-upload the top 10 without further ado. Wow, Ring of Heroes is doing really well. It's actually doing better in Skylanders Imaginators, and this is only a few weeks after its official global debut. So yes, to celebrate the success of Skylanders Ring of Heroes, I thought we'd look at that mobile game, as well as 9 others from the Skylanders franchise, and count them down from worst to first, despite the fact that this is not a listed video, it's actually a top 10. Although there's only 10 items I could really put on the list, because there's only 7 official Skylanders mobile games, so I've had to make a few exceptions, as you'll see about once we get into the list later on. But case in point, this list is based on the quality of the mobile app itself, nostalgia factors, popularity, all of that fun and glorious stuff. And so, basically without further ado, let's get on in to the countdown. I will never stop loving that pun. Now, the main reason Skylanders Battlegrounds is at number 10 right here is because I never got to play the game, so I hate judging the game based on reviews, but in this case I'm going to have to. So basically, I remember when this game was available, it was first of all a paid purchase, and second of all, the reviewers were saying that it's not worth the money, and that the game frequently crashed and wasn't very good. Hence, going off for reviews on this one, it can't be that great really, so it's got number 10 on the list for those reasons right now. But I suppose having Igniter and trailer right there really does elevate it, I suppose, so it's enough to make it on the list, but not any lower. So, coming in at number 9, we have Skylanders Battlecast. Now, easily the best part about this game was this opening trailer right here, or at least for a reveal trailer, mind you, because this had some sort of cinematic to it and actually made the game look pretty good. Well, in truth, the game, well, it wasn't good, hence why it's so low on the list right here. Now, the only reason it does beat out Battlegrounds is because of the fact that I have played this game. And I can guarantee you that if I played Battlegrounds, this game would probably fall below it, purely because this game is so slow paced and its rendering is absolute garbage. Like, honestly, the graphics are awful, and the augmented reality is so low poly that it doesn't even feel realistic in the slightest. So I did not appreciate the augmented reality, although I did appreciate the effect it was going for. And overall, it was for poor rendering and basic slow pacing of the game that really killed it off before it had time to thrive. Not to mention the cards to begin with were far too overpriced, meaning that no one would actually go out to these stores to buy the cards. No one wanted to buy the cards because they didn't have a good game corresponding with it. Now, if the game was rendered better and if the game had better pacing, I'm sure it would have had better reception. And not to mention, if the card prices were much cheaper from the get-go, I'm sure the game could have lasted longer in terms of its lifespan. But as it stands at the moment, Battlegrounds, or Battlecast even, is the worst Skylanders mobile game I have played for those reasons. Coming in at number 8, we have Skylanders Creator. Now, this game is far more boring than Battlecast in the fact that it's not got much actual gameplay to it. Really all it is creating your own imaginators inside of an app, which is fine, but there's nothing you can actually do with them afterwards besides order figurines and shirts, which are well too overpriced, might I also add. £5 for a trading card of your specific imaginator, that's far too high. I know it's personalised, which means it's, well, it says so in the whole phrase right there, personal to you, but still the prices were far too steep, I find, and that's why hardly anyone ever ordered them, I suppose. Now you could always summon in your own imaginators and then use the app to edit them without changing their appearance inside of the game itself, and really that was the main drawing factor to the game, because I would never found creating my own imaginators using the app that appealing, especially since I couldn't use them in any sort of gameplay features afterward unless I bought my own creation crystal, which again was more money. So above all, it's not a great companion app, and really it was only there to sell more and more either creation crystals or overpriced merchandise, which was not appreciated. But above all, at least it's not as bad as Battlecasting for the fact that it didn't look absolutely abysmal. So yeah, that's why it's number 8 to say the least. Coming in at number 7, we have Collection Vault. Now I know what a lot of you are thinking, if Skylanders creator is boring, how the heck is Collection Vault any better? Well, what you do is look at all of the other Skylanders that there are and select which ones you want for which lists and whatnot. And it's even worse for trying to sell Skylanders to you, because it's kind of like, oh, you really want that Skylander? Well, you kind of got to go out and buy it. Well, first of all, these are like recommended retail of Skylanders, so it's nowhere near as expensive as the creator app. And the second of all is that this collection vault is actually useful. It helps you keep on track with your collection, and not to mention, what I found so cool about this app the first time I downloaded it is the fact that I learned about certain Skylanders through this app. I had no idea that there was an enchanted hoot loop until after I downloaded this app, and the fact that this app teaches you what Skylanders exist that you never knew about previously, that is what I call, well, pretty cool actually. So that's why Collection Vault beats out over Creator, because it actually does something useful and it's a great tool, you could say. So I'd call it more of a tool than an app. So if you look at it more like that, it does indeed improve the quality of the app significantly. Hence why we have Collection Vault at number 7 on the list right here. Coming in at number 6, we have Skylanders Universe. Now this was a mobile-based game which was around drawn with the Spyro's Adventure to Giants era, and I know what you guys are thinking, web-based game? That doesn't make it a mobile game. And in truth, yes, it wasn't released on mobile devices, but its development cycle for a web-based app game is basically the same as any other mobile game out there. And really, this countdown is counting down more of the Skylanders spin-offs than what they are just mobile games alone, and really I needed another entry on this list or else it would be a top 10, so this was really a far-fetched entry, but it's an entry all the same. And Skylanders Universe, for those of you who do remember it, remember fond memories of it, and really there wasn't much to it despite what you might see in the trailer right here. All you could really do was walk around with your Skylander and interact with other Portmasters, which was clearly the coolest part about it. Then you could also play a series of mini-games, but they weren't the greatest of mini-games really. Some of them were ripped right off the console game, and not in a good way, because they were like the console game but worse. And then the rest of them just weren't that memorable really. What you remember is walking around and meeting other fellow Portal Masters, and really when it comes down to it, that element of Universe isn't as great as other mobile games of the Skylanders franchise. Coming in at number 5, we have Skylanders Superchargers. Now this is just a port of a main console game onto Apple and Android based devices, so it is mobile based but also port based. So because I'm telekinetic like that, I know what you're thinking. You already pushed it with Skylanders Universe, so aren't you pushing it here? And to that I say yes, but again I need more slots to be opened up, so Superchargers counts as it is a mobile title, even if it is simply just ported from the other versions. Now as you can tell, the graphics are significantly downgraded here, which is unfortunate, but the core gameplay still remains the same, and Instant Spitfire looks awesome by the way. It's almost variant like, but case in point, it's still an amazing game all the same, and to have the ability to play this on mobile, so anywhere you go, is fantastic. and plus it also has a custom controller made for it, especially by the developers, and so that amount of effort and detail never really goes into many ports, so I'm glad that this game actually, cares in that regard. So above all, it's a lot of fun to play this game, and whilst it's not my favourite Skylanders console game, and it's unfortunate that some of the console games which I do prefer over this game were never ported before now, it's still a blast, and it's good to know that the Skylanders developers care about their games enough to where they want them to get to main audiences, and mainstream audiences these days are on the mobile devices, mind you. So yeah, there you go, Skylanders Superchargers is an amazing mobile experience, even if it is just a port. But since it is just a port and lacks the same originality that the other mobile games have, it's only number 5 on the list right here. As for number 4, we have Cloud Patrol. Now, the fun thing about this right here is that it was actually an arcade cabinet as well as a mobile game. But really what made this such a great mobile game is, first of all, the effort that went into making sure that all of the Skylanders were available for it. So up till Giants, you could utilize any in-game Skylander or variant for this game. And so the detail of that was great. The rendering was also pretty damn great. But really the best thing about it was that the gameplay was fun. It was fast-paced and addictive, allowing for you to easily play just one more game and then one more after that, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I've really enjoyed this game when I was younger, and it's one of those games which I really did struggle to put down. So really, the fun factor is what has got at number 4 on the list right here. Wow, do I remember spending a lot of time on this game. So basically I remember coming home from school and my mum looked in her Apple store on the iPad and found a Skylanders game, so she gave me her iPad for a few hours and I just played the game non-stop basically. And so yes, I poured a lot of time and effort into this game, and that's because I loved it. Now it is a basic world builder, this Lost Islands game, but I have no problems with that whatsoever because it's one of the better made ones that I've played in recent years. There was lots of different resources and different challenges and quests and stuff to tackle, so there was still variety found within the game, and above all it was just a lot of fun to play, even if it was a big long waiting game 50% of the time. So yeah, really, the fact that when this game was available I spent so much time in it gives me even a lot of nostalgia for the game, and that's enough really to push it to number 3 on the list. Coming at number 2 on the list, we have Skylanders Trap Team. Just like Skylanders Superchargers preceding this one, this game too had a mobile release, or at least one more specifically for iPad and mobile based devices. And so, when Skylanders Trap Team was first being released, this whole mobile starter set was highly marketed, and whilst the marketing didn't pay off for the most part because it didn't sell particularly well, I do think it was very well integrated because they created their own custom controller for the game and everything, which I find very impressive and just cool really, more so than anything. And above all, you also got an instant snapshot if you didn't have the starter kit on you, and his instant snapshot looks pretty cool, almost in-game variant like you could say. But really it's the same old awesome game Skylanders Trap Team is from the consoles, just on mobile devices, and really because it's more of a port it can't get any lower on the list, but because of how great the game is and the fact that you can now play it on mobile based devices, it's just so fantastic and a great idea by everyone who was developing it, mind you. So yeah, I can't really fault this game because it is my favourite Skylanders game in the franchise, but really, the only reason it's not a number 1 is because of... Coming in at number 1, we have Skylanders Ring of Heroes. Now obviously this game cannot beat the console version of my most favourite Skylanders game in the franchise, Skylanders Trap Team, and really the main reason why this gets number 1 over that game is because this is purely mobile based, it doesn't have any sort of console support or anything, and it's completely original in that regard, and so really because of that, with it being a free mobile game, it amazes me the amount of effort and detail that goes into this game. It's very well textured and rendered. Like, you guys remember all of my complaints about Battlecast? Well, basically this game fixes all of them to make a game which is fast paced, very well rendered, and a lot of fun to play. So above all, despite this being a free to play game, it has a lot of effort and love poured into it, and I love that about this game, and it's what makes it my favourite Skylanders mobile game. Even when compared to, say, console-based entries like Trap Team, or at least the mobile versions of them. And whilst this game still does have a little bit to be desired for the fact that the microtransactions are a little bit too high, the fact that it's not pay to win does really elevate its whole quality for me. And so above all, it's a great game which I'd recommend to basically anyone, even if they aren't a fan of Skylanders.